Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So yesterday we were discussing about this feedback control system. So one student had asked about what is this disturbance. He didn't understand. So I'll just explain this disturbance once again. Can somebody explain what is disturbance in this control system? Can someone explain what is disturbance here? The input disturbance and the output disturbance, what is it?
Any external interference, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So how is it different from noise?
Noise is external interference to the sensor directly.
Okay. So if the external interference is to the control system, then if it is to the system, then it is disturbance. If it is to the sensor, then it is noise. So if sensor picks up some noise, then that is, it carries noise along with that. If a disturbance is created to the system, then it has to overcome that disturbance. That is why we use the positive. That is why we use the feedback control system. And whether we use a positive feedback or a negative feedback.
Negative feedback, sir.
This is a negative feedback. Okay. So why do we use a negative feedback in control systems? So why do you see a minus sign here?
So because it is the difference, you're saying it is the difference between.
Yeah. So you are just comparing what is the input that is given and what is the output that you got. Okay. So you are actually comparing. So in a comparing, you take the difference and give that value to the controller. So disturbance always gets added. Okay, if there is an external disturbance, it gets added. So what did we discuss about unity feedback? What do you mean by unity feedback? We discussed something on unity feedback. What do you mean by unity?
Unity is one, so.
So
it is.
What do we understand by unity feedback? Anybody? Yesterday we discussed this unity feedback.
Output is equal to input, sir.
Yeah, transfer function is 1. Okay, transfer function is 1, and whose transfer function are we talking about? Sensor. Okay, sensor transfer function is 1. That means we are assuming that there is no noise picked up by the sensor. Okay, to keep the problem simpler, we are assuming that the sensor doesn't pick up any noise and it is working very efficiently, and its transfer function is 1. The output and the input is the same. Okay, so that is what we meant by unity feedback, and the kind of feedback is a negative feedback because there is a negative sign there. Okay, and the disturbance, did you understand? Suppose if it's a drone, you want to control a drone, what kind of disturbance can you expect? Suppose if it's a drone,
Weather conditions.
yeah, wind starts blowing,
Cross winds and all, yeah.
Yeah, wind starts blowing and it will not exactly go to that position what you expected. Okay, these are the kind of disturbance. Suppose if it's an aircraft, the same thing, turbulence, okay, due to the wind. So all these are disturbances, external disturbances caused to the system, and you need to overcome that to get the required desired output. Correct. So for that, to make sure that happens, we discussed something on stability. So what do you mean by stability of a system?
For a bounded input, you get a bounded output. So.
Yeah.
If
Stability
if finite
means,
input, you'll have a finite output.
yeah. Why do you think that stability of a system is important? It's called BIBO, meaning bounded input, bounded output. So for a bounded input to the system, you get a bounded output. Okay. Why do you think stability is important? Why are we worried about stability in a control system?
Maybe for it to function in a desired manner.
Yeah. Suppose if you press the accelerator of a car, okay, a little, what will the car do? The car will accelerate a bit. Okay. You remove the leg from the accelerator, it will slow down over a period of time. Correct? So this is what is expected. Given an input signal, it must function the way it should function. Suppose you just give a little acceleration and the car goes very fast. It has no relation to the input signal at all. Okay, it goes very fast. Then what is happening is, for a bounded input, there is a unbounded output. Okay, a very huge output for a small input. Okay, so that is what we call as unbounded output. So that is not desirable. So for a bounded input, the output should be bounded, and this is very important in a control system. So I'll not be able to take a real problem and show the controlling of that directly. So step by step, we need to go towards that. Okay, so we need to understand each and every term in this controlling of the system, and then after a few classes, we'll talk about controlling. Okay, so first we'll talk about stability of a system. So yesterday we looked at some of the ways by which we can identify whether the system is stable or not. What did we do? How did we analyze the stability of the systems yesterday in MATLAB?
We altered certain parameters in the.
Yeah, what kind of input you gave?
Impulse. Sorry,
Impulse.
I think.
Yeah. Impulse input you gave, and then what was the response expected?
I think we wanted to have like a stable output, right? We wanted to have a flat line at the end.
Suppose you give suppose for an input you want an output. Okay, suppose the kind of input you give is an impulse signal at t equal to 0. What will be its response? It will be something like this. Okay, over a period of time. So this is the input and this is the output. Okay, but if suppose if you give an input signal which is something like this, sorry, you give an input signal something like this, impulse input, and the response that you get, if it is going like this, then this is a what kind of system? This is unstable. Okay, for a given input, the output is going unbounded. It is going exponentially somewhere. Okay, so this is a unstable system. Now we need to identify, based on the transfer function, whether the system is stable or not. Okay, whether the system is stable or not. For example, we discuss this 1 divided by ms square plus cs plus k. This is for the second order system. So this is the transfer function. So this has a numerator and a denominator. Okay, numerator is 1, denominator is ms square plus cs plus k. Now what did we do yesterday? Suppose you take a transfer function 1 divided by s plus 2. We'll take a simpler one, 1 divided by s plus 2. And then we will take transfer function 1 divided by s minus 2. What will be the difference between these two? Did you observe yesterday? So I'll just open that MATLAB. So here, if you see, I change the transfer function to s plus 2. Okay, s is equal to 1 divided by s plus 2 is the transfer function. And I run this. And then I go to the apps. I open the linear system analyzer. And then I want to see the impulse response. So I choose impulse here, apply, then OK. And then import that file, the transfer function, into this. So what is happening? For s is equal to 1 divided by s plus 2, is this a stable system or an unstable system? Yes?
Stable.
So
Stable.
stable, right? Yeah.
Stable. Now I'll change the transfer function 1 divided by s minus 2. Okay. And then run this. And then refresh this system. What is this?
This is unstable.
Unstable
Non-stable.
system. Now there is something happening with the denominator. Remember, this is 1 divided by s minus 2, not just s minus 2. Okay. So this is 1 divided by s minus 2. So there is some change that can be seen when we change this. Okay. So who is that? Okay. So you can see here, it has gone unstable. Now what is happening is, when you need to take the numerator and the denominator, you need to take the roots of the numerator and the roots of the denominator. Okay. So let's take first the roots of the denominator. What is the roots of the denominator here? When you put s minus 2 equal to 0, what do you get s as?
2.
2. Okay. You get s as 2. Now if you put s plus 2 here, you get s is equal to minus 2.
Minus 2.
Okay. So the roots of the denominator are called as poles. Okay. I'll just write it here. Roots of the denominator is called poles. Okay. Roots of the numerator of what we are talking about? Transfer function. Okay. Roots of the numerator is called zeros. Okay. Now we have to do something with the roots of the denominator. Now we know that s is equal to 2 here, and if it is s plus 2, then s will be equal to minus 2. Now this is what is changing the system from stable to unstable, unstable to stable. Okay. So let's do this in the s domain. Okay. Now I'll go to this and say plot configurations. I want to see two things. One is the time domain and another one is the pole 0. Okay, pole 0 I want to see, and then apply, then say okay. So here what do you see? A pole is represented by a cross. Okay, is it visible? The blue cross, can you see here?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the above image, the above graph shows the time domain, the below graph shows the S domain. Now, what is an S domain? S domain is a complex plane where, you know, S domain, right? You have studied Laplace transform. Can somebody tell me what is S plane? You can even see that and tell me what does S plane consist of. If you can recall some of the Laplace transforms class. Can someone tell me what is a S plane? No? Anybody? Anybody, what is a S plane?
Sir, is it imaginary numbers, complex numbers?
Yeah. So here I'll show you what is a S plane. So S plane is nothing but it has it is a 2D plane where this is the real axis X, this horizontal axis is the real axis and this is the imaginary. Okay, this is the imaginary. This is called as the S plane. You have the real and the imaginary terms. Now, what did you get? 1 divided by S minus 2. What are the roots? S is equal to 2. Okay, S is equal to 2. Where do you plot? You plot it on the, where do you plot? S is equal
Real
to 2.
axis, real axis,
Real axis.
On the real axis,
number,
you put a cross. Okay, this is 2 here. Now, if transfer function is 1 divided by S plus 2, then where do you plot? S will be equal to minus 2. Okay, the root will be minus 2. So you'll plot it here. This is minus 2. Now, this what is the roots called of the denominator?
Poles, sir.
Poles.
Roots of denominator, poles.
Poles. Roots of the denominator is called poles. When you have a pole on the left side, okay, so which is stable? Which is making it stable? This one or this one?
So, what?
This is making stable. This is making the system stable, or this is making the system stable? Which system is stable? This one or this one? Transfer function is equal to 1 divided by S minus 2 is a transfer function. Another transfer function is 1 divided by S plus 2. Which is a stable transfer function?
1 by S plus 2, sir.
S plus 2 is no. I think 1 by S minus 2.
Sir, 1 by S minus 2, sir.
1 by S minus 2 is stable.
1 by S plus 2, sir.
S plus 2, sir.
Okay, I'll do it once again.
Oh,
You understood?
Okay. Yes, got it. Okay, got it. Yeah, from the graph.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll show this again. So that this is very important to understand. Okay. So plot configurations. I want to see both impulse, that is a time domain, and I want to see, I have to click this and then I have to see the pole 0. Okay, and then say apply, then okay, and then import that transfer function. I'll show you the step by step how to do this in the control lab. Okay, you'll be able to do this on your own. Now we'll just focus on the concepts. Okay, now if I put 1 divided by s minus 2, the roots are positive, then see, this is, the pole is 2 here. Okay, pole is positive. Okay, so the system is unstable. Now I put s 1 divided by s plus 2 and then run this and then refresh the system. Where do I get a pole? I get a pole at -2. Okay, so what do you understand from this? When the pole is on the
Pole is to be
left-hand,
negative for it to be stable, sir.
yeah, pole is to be negative for the system to be stable. Okay, so where is the imaginary term here? We didn't have any imaginary term.
0.
Okay. Yeah, imaginary term is 0. We don't have an imaginary term there. Now we'll change the transfer function. We'll change it to say 1 s square plus 2 s plus 2. Okay, 1s square plus 2s plus 2. Okay, it is nothing but 1 ms square plus cs plus k. Okay, now I run this and then I refresh this. Okay, no, I'll change something over here. I'll make it to 5. Now what do you see? Is it stable? Is the system stable?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
System
Yes,
is
sir.
stable.
Yes,
Where
sir.
are the
Yes, sir.
poles? Where are the poles?
It's negatives only, sir.
Minus
Minus
0.2,
0.2 and
0.5.
minus 0.5.
minus 0.2 minus 0.6 I.
Okay, 0.6, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
and then here it is minus 0.2 plus 0.6 I. Now we have got the imaginary term as well. Okay, now the system is stable. Even in the time domain, if we see, because of the impulse signal, there is fluctuation and then it comes back to 0. Okay, after say 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, the system is back to the same position. Now I'll change something over here. I'll say minus. Okay, and then run this and then refresh this. Now where are the poles? Pole is at 0.2 minus 0.6 I. Okay, and then another root is 0.2 plus 0.6 I. How do you find these roots? 5s square minus 2s plus 2. How do you find the roots? With pen and paper?
0 and solve.
Use quadratic equation formula and solve.
Use minus b plus or minus root b square minus
B
4ac
square
by
minus 4ac
2a.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you use that, you'll get it. Okay, I don't want to spend the time on what is b, what is a, what is c and all. We have been using it. Okay, minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a, you need to apply and get the roots, okay, of the denominator of the transfer function to identify where the pole location is. So what you have understood now, you have understood that when you have a pole on the left side, okay, negative side, then the system is stable. If you have any pole on the right side, then the system is unstable. Suppose if I have s plus 2 and then have s plus 3, sorry, not s plus 3, s minus 3, then what do you think will happen? What are the roots? What are the roots for this? S plus 2 into S minus 3.
-2 and +3.
Huh? Minus 2 and plus 3. Okay. Now I'll refresh this. What do you see? You see a pole at -2 and see a pole in the +3. Okay. But what about the system? Is it stable or unstable?
Unstable.
Unstable. That means, see, this is the S plane. This is the 0. Okay. On the left side, you have a pole. On the right side also, you have a pole. Okay. You have a pole on the left side, -2. You have a pole on the right side of the S plane, that is +3. Now, even though you have a pole on the left side, because you have a pole on the right side as well, the system is unstable. Okay. Previously, we had only poles on the left side or the right side. Now we have a pole on the left side and right side. Still, the system is unstable. That means you should not have any pole on the right side. Okay. If I make it S plus 3 here, then I'll have 2 poles on the left side itself. Okay. -3 and -2. Clear? So is the system stable?
Yes, sir.
So what will happen if you take S plus 2 into S minus 2?
S plus 2 into
S minus 2.
S
Again,
minus
get unstable only, so.
S minus 2. Run this, refresh this. You
Yeah,
have
still
a
unstable, yeah.
Okay.
pole at -2, you have a pole at +2.
Oh.
The system is unstable.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Jayant, any questions, Jayant? Jayant raised hand something. Okay, you can just unmute yourself and ask doubts. Are you able to understand
Yes, sir.
why I'm having a time domain and a S domain in a single window is you need to understand you are making some changes in the S domain. Okay, this is S domain. You're making some changes over here and you're trying to look at the time domain and see whether the system is stable or unstable. After a few classes, I will remove time domain. Okay, you need to understand with the S domain itself whether the system is stable or unstable. This is what is expected. Okay. Now we'll take the help of time domain to see whether it is stable or unstable. But after a few classes, you must be able to tell me whether the system is stable or unstable just looking at the roots of this. Okay. So suppose you have seen the stable and unstable. There is another thing that we need to look at is marginally stable. Okay. Plus 1s plus 2. Okay. ms square plus es plus k again. Now I'll remove damping. Okay, I'll put 0. C is equal to 0, so zeta will also be equal to 0. Then in that case, what happens? I run this and then refresh this. What do you see? Where is the pole? Where is the pole? Pole is at
Is it 0?
on the
0 and
on the imaginary line. Okay, pole is -0 plus 1.41 I, and the other pole is 0 minus 1.41 I. Okay, so it is on the imaginary. Okay, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why did we say this as marginally stable? Left side stable, right side unstable, but on the imaginary line we call it marginally stable. What do you mean marginally stable?
It's very close to 0 amplitude.
No. What we meant by marginally stable is what kind of system it is it is an undamped system, correct?
Yes, sir.
Zeta is 0 because C is 0, zeta is 0. Okay,
Yes, sir.
zeta is C by CC.
C by
So
C. Yeah.
C is 0, so zeta is 0. Undamped system. Now in an undamped system, if you give an initial disturbance, what will happen?
If you remove the disturbance after some time, we'll go to its natural frequency, right? We'll find out natural
It
frequency.
keeps oscillating.
It keeps vibrating or oscillating. Yeah.
It keeps oscillating. Okay, that is what is happening. You give an impulse response and say zeta equal to 0, there is no damping. It doesn't come to the equilibrium position, it doesn't stop. Okay, but is it going unbounded? Is the output unbounded?
No, sir.
Output is not unbounded because
It
it
is
is within the range.
Hmm.
Within the range, keep on fluctuating. Okay, within the range it is fluctuating, so it is not unbounded. Is it stable? We
No,
don't
sir,
call
it's
it stable
vibrating,
because it has to come to 0 over a period of time. It doesn't come. It doesn't come to 0 or it doesn't go unbounded. It fluctuates, it oscillates over a small range. Okay, so that kind of a situation we call it as marginally stable. Okay, so in a pole zero map, where do you have the poles in that marginally stable system?
On
You
the
have it
imaginary.
on the imaginary axis. Okay, you don't have any real terms, you have only imaginary terms. Okay, so if you have both real and the imaginary, can you plot on the S-plane? Do you know how to plot on the S-plane? You know it, right? Real part is on the x-axis, imaginary part is on the y-axis. Okay, so you know this, how to plot when you are given the real parts and the real terms and the imaginary terms. Any doubts in the S domain, pole zero? We have not discussed about poles yet. We have discussed only about zeros. Any questions, please ask.
No,
Anything you did not understand?
sir, all of
Plus,
this, the input output is for the sensor, right? Or is it for the controller?
this is for a system.
For the whole system as a whole, is it?
This is for a system. We are not considering the sensor yet. We are
Okay.
just taking transfer function of a particular system
Okay.
and doing this.
Okay, sir.
I have not taken transfer function for a closed system as such. Okay. I've just taken some system and explaining the zeros and poles. We will be doing transfer function for an open system, transfer function for a closed system. All those we'll be doing, but just for a particular system, if you have a transfer function, how to know the poles and zeros, that is what I've discussed. Any questions? Any questions, please ask. If you have not understood, we need a doubt clarifying session, we can have that. If anybody wants a doubt clarification session today, we can have it 7 o'clock. I can schedule, but I want to know who is interested today to attend the doubt clarification session. If I get some names, we can have it. Otherwise, I was just waiting on the other day, on the Saturday, for 15 minutes and nobody turned up. If you have missed some classes, you want some doubts to be clarified. If anybody wants a meeting at 7 p.m. today, can let me know so that we can discuss and clear all your doubts. Anybody? Feel free. If you have doubts, please don't pile up all your doubts. All these concepts are very, very important, and we'll be proceeding with these things. If you have doubts and you have not got it cleared, it will be difficult in the future classes to understand. That's the reason to come up with the doubt clarification sessions as well. If there is anything you had a summer term exam, you couldn't attend this class, you want to clear your doubts, or you have been in the class, you have not understood, let me know. Any names for today? 7 p.m. is the time that I'm available today, because I have to go home and then do this. If anybody is willing, you can have that. Anybody?
Not today. Well,
Not-
we'll let you know if we have doubts later, sir.
Okay. So please feel free to have such doubt clarification sessions, because that will help. And you can catch up with the regular classes as well after that doubt clarification session. So these things, because understanding control systems might be a little difficult. That's why I'm using MATLAB to show the time domain and the S domain at the same time. Okay, so that you understand. If I just do it with pen and paper, I can show only S domain. I cannot show time domain. Why is that? I have to take inverse Laplace, okay, and then plot it using a graph sheet if I have to show you what happens in the time domain. Are you able to understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have it in the S domain. If I have to show you the time domain, I have to take the inverse Laplace, then I have to
Plot it.
plot it. All those work is done by the MATLAB now. All you need to do is understand control engineering basics properly. Leave all the Laplace transform, inverse Laplace transform to MATLAB for now. For now, you leave it. Concentrate on the control engineering concepts. Otherwise, what will happen? You will only spend time on taking the roots. I don't want you to spend time on minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a. Please. Okay. You use MATLAB or use some quadratic equation solver, get the roots. Okay. Don't spend time on those things. Spend time on understanding the concepts. You have used minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a from school. Okay. So I don't want you to spend time on those things. I want you to spend time on MATLAB, learning control engineering concepts, not maths. Okay. So please, let's use the initial time at least, focus on control, and then you can revise your Laplace basics. Okay. Okay. If there are no doubts, we'll close the session for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.